The season of struggle. Daniel grew up in a small town where opportunities were limited and dreams often seemed larger than reality. His family worked hard, but money was always tight. He watched his parents sacrifice everything just to keep food on the table. As a child, he promised himself that one day he would create a better life, not only for himself but for the people he loved. Yet life had different plans. After finishing school, he found himself working long hours at a warehouse, loading trucks late into the night. The pay covered his bills but left little room for progress. Every month felt like a race against time. While others seemed to be moving forward, buying new cars and celebrating achievements, Daniel felt trapped. He began questioning whether hard work even mattered anymore. The struggle became heavier as the years passed. Unexpected expenses appeared constantly. His old car broke down repeatedly. Rent increased. Friends moved away. Relationships ended. Every time he felt close to getting ahead, another problem pushed him backward. Some nights he sat alone in his small apartment staring at the ceiling, wondering if life would ever change. He felt invisible to the world. No one saw the effort he put in every day. No one knew the battles he fought silently. Yet despite the disappointment, he continued showing up. He woke up tired, worked hard, and kept moving forward. He didn't realize it yet, but those difficult days were building something inside him that comfort never could. The breaking point. One winter evening, everything seemed to collapse at once. Daniel lost his job during a company downsizing. Within weeks his savings disappeared. Bills piled up on the kitchen table. Collection notices arrived in the mail. The pressure felt overwhelming. For the first time in his life, fear controlled his thoughts. He worried about losing his apartment. He worried about disappointing his family. Most of all, he worried that maybe he simply wasn't good enough to succeed. The future looked dark and uncertain. During this period, Daniel experienced what many people never talk about openly. He felt ashamed. Social media showed smiling faces and success stories while he struggled just to survive. He stopped attending gatherings and avoided conversations about careers or money. The loneliness became almost unbearable. One night, while walking through a nearly empty park, he sat on a cold bench and asked himself a difficult question. Am I going to let this moment define me, or am I going to use it to rebuild myself? That question changed everything. He realized he couldn't control what had happened, but he could control what happened next. Instead of feeling sorry for himself, he decided to focus on becoming stronger than the problems standing in front of him. The next morning he started small. He created a routine. He exercised. He read books about personal development and resilience. He applied for jobs every day. Progress was slow, but each small action restored a little confidence. Hard times had stripped away his comfort, but they were also teaching him discipline. Learning through pain. Months passed before Daniel began seeing results. He found a better job, but the greatest transformation wasn't financial. It was mental. He had become more patient, more focused, and more resilient. Challenges that once overwhelmed him now felt manageable. Every hardship had taught him something valuable. Losing his job taught him adaptability. Financial struggles taught him responsibility. Loneliness taught him self-reliance. Failure taught him humility. As he continued growing, Daniel noticed something interesting. The strongest people he admired all had difficult stories. None of them had achieved success without setbacks. Every successful entrepreneur, athlete, or leader had experienced moments of doubt and disappointment. The difference was not that they avoided hardship. The difference was that they learned from it. This realization changed his perspective forever. He stopped seeing obstacles as punishment and started viewing them as training. One afternoon, while helping a younger coworker who was struggling with confidence, Daniel shared his story. He talked about the sleepless nights, the fear, and the uncertainty. The coworker listened carefully and then said something Daniel would never forget. "You seem so strong now." At that moment, Daniel realized strength isn't something people are born with. Strength is built through experience. Every difficult day had added another layer to the person he was becoming. The climb upward. Years later, Daniel's life looked completely different. He had advanced in his career, improved his finances, and developed a reputation as someone who could handle pressure calmly. But unlike before, success no longer defined him. He understood that money and achievements were only part of the journey. The real victory was who he had become along the way. Whenever new challenges appeared, he no longer panicked. He remembered the nights when he had almost given up. Compared to those moments, today's problems seemed smaller. The hardships of his past had created confidence that could not be purchased or borrowed. He trusted himself because he had already survived difficult seasons. He knew that setbacks were temporary and growth was permanent. People often asked Daniel for advice. Many expected a secret formula for success. Instead, he would smile and say, "The hardest years of my life taught me everything I needed to know." Some people didn't understand at first. They wanted shortcuts. They wanted easy answers. But Daniel knew that growth rarely happens during comfortable times. Growth happens when life forces us to adapt, learn, and keep moving despite uncertainty. The stronger person. One evening Daniel returned to the same park where he had once sat feeling hopeless. The bench was still there. The trees were taller. The town looked the same. But he was completely different. As he sat quietly, he reflected on the journey that had brought him there. He realized that if he could go back in time, he wouldn't erase the struggles. He wouldn't remove the failures. He wouldn't avoid the setbacks. Those moments had shaped his character and built his resilience. Hard times had taught him patience when he wanted immediate results. They had taught him gratitude when he took things for granted. They had taught him courage when fear seemed overwhelming. Most importantly, they had taught him that strength is not the absence of struggle. Strength is the ability to keep moving forward despite it. Every scar carried a lesson. Every setback carried wisdom. Every difficult season carried the seeds of future growth. As the sun disappeared below the horizon, Daniel smiled. The struggles that once felt like obstacles had become stepping stones. The pain that once seemed unfair had become preparation. Life had not become easier. Instead, he had become stronger. And that made all the difference. His story became a reminder that difficult times are not the end of the journey. Often, they are simply the beginning of the person we are meant to become.